The Department of Justice, under Attorney General William Barr, has just designated 3 American cities as anarchist jurisdictions. So now, what does that mean? Well, we'll get to the details here, but this is according to NBC News. The Justice Department designated New York City, Portland, and Seattle as quote-unquote anarchist jurisdictions under guidelines issued by President Trump earlier this month. Trump's September 2nd memo directs federal agencies to minimize funding for these cities, designated as under anarchist jurisdiction, setting up a fight, of course, before the election. In trying to set this up and justifying it, they said New York City is one of the 3 places that have permitted violence and destruction of property to persist and have refused to undertake reasonable measures to counteract criminal activity. So, wait, now what do they mean by that? Well, New York has decided to not violently crush the overwhelmingly peaceful protests for Black Lives Matter. You know, the place where 93% of the protests were entirely peaceful. And 7%, again, a result of some people who just, want to get a free TV that are not affiliated with Black Lives Matter, or police coming in and using force against these protesters, to which the protesters responded with force. Right-wing agitators and things like that, infiltrators from police, et cetera, et cetera. Again, the vast majority, peaceful. And Donald Trump said, no, crush them. Bring in the military, crack their skulls. I don't care what you do. Just crush these people. We don't want them. And this is his whole quote-unquote law and order thing. This is what he's running on. So now, that said, the reason that he's pushed so hard on this is because it's an election year. It's 100% political. The culture war is coming to a head. And so, as a result, he's going to say, look at me, I'm so tough. I cut this funding to Democratic governors, to Democratic mayors in these cities. And that's what it is. NYC Mayor Bill de Blasio responded to this by saying, I was out in Elmhurst, Queens this morning. I saw peace, tranquility. I saw people going about their business. People excited. It's the first day of school. I saw anything but anarchy. It's just another one of President Trump's games. It's insulting to the people of New York City, and his effort to withhold our funding is unconstitutional. The city's top lawyer said his office was preparing to fight any funding cuts to the court. So now, look, if you're an anarchist jurisdiction, again, according to Trump, they can cut your funding. Trump's order gives the director of the Office of Management and Budget 30 days to issue guidance to federal agencies in restricting eligibility for federal grants to the cities on the DOJ list. Grants make up a huge portion of NYC's budget, more than $7 billion in fiscal 2021 alone, or 7.5% of the city's projected total revenue. So it's a significant amount of money. In justifying the decision, the DOJ cited New York's rising gun violence, cuts to the NYPD's budget, and moves by various district attorneys not to prosecute charges related to protests earlier this summer. So now this is bad because here you have the president, basically issuing something to William Barr during an election year that's purely political, right? And it's happening during COVID-19. COVID-19 has affected the states quite badly, okay? Thousands of small businesses have closed. Millions of people are out of work. The mass evictions are here. And now you have the DOJ threatening funding. And he's been doing this for a while. Trump has been threatening funding to these cities for a long time, again, to try to say, look at me, I'm so law and order. I'm going to go and I'm going to cut the funding to these Democrat cities, these Democrat mayors. And conservatives, they love it. They cheer this on. And it's all, of course, to make a political point. Donald Trump is desperate to stir up the base. He is doing everything he can to get his people out to the polls and to show how much of a strong man he is. But what are the Democrats doing? I mean, look, in 2016, they did not try to get their people out. They thought, oh, no, we got this in the bag. They shut out progressives by running somebody like Hillary Clinton. Now what are they doing today? They're running Joe Biden. Joe Biden, not anybody's first choice. Nobody's first choice except the establishment, who definitely put their thumb on the scale in order to help Biden. Again, Biden was doing very, very badly before Super Tuesday. And so they lined up and they helped him. And that's, again, not going to help with the Democratic base, who overwhelmingly wants things like Medicare for all and a Green New Deal. And so, look, Biden's problems are, he's got a lot of them. He's got no ground game. Donald Trump's, his campaign's knocking on $1 million doors in Michigan. Donald Trump, his campaign is doing that. Biden's campaign is not doing any of that. And by the way, I know before you guys jump on me about but COVID-19, there is a way that you can do canvassing safely during a pandemic. Wear your mask, do your social distancing while you're canvassing, and you should be fine. It can be done. But again, the Biden and the Democrats are once again, they're not doing what they need to do to bring up the base. And they're allowing this to happen. Okay? They've got to fight Donald Trump using whatever tool that they can. They have to stop thinking, no, this time the strategy of we're not Trump is good enough, because it's not. It's not. They need to fight. They need to be aggressive. They need to say, these are the policies we're in favor of. We are in favor of Medicare for all. We are in favor of a Green New Deal. We are going to do these things if you help us get into power. If you get us into power, we're going to fight for this. But they haven't done so. And again, this is why liberals, they don't win. They don't win because they're not aggressive. And they don't know how to wield power, or they're not interested in wielding the power that they have. Do you ever think that Democrats would ever have tried to cut off funding to Alabama or anything like that? Or even Charlottesville, right? Where there was the Unite the Rights rallies. No, they would never have done that. Never. By the way, those Unite the Right rallies turned into violence because the people that showed up there on the Nazi side were ready for violence. They were prepared for it, and a person died, was run over by a car. Would Democrats have, said, oh, look at the anarchy. Oh, look at that. No, they never would have done that. But the Republicans, they look at Democrat cities and go, oh, I can't believe you're having 93% peaceful protests for Black Lives Matter. Shut them down. Shut them down. Cut all their funding. Look at us. We're law and order. Ridiculous. No, they're barely fighting against Trump. And they barely fought against Trump the entire time. They fought harder against progressives and Bernie Sanders. And now you've got, Donald Trump getting another possible SCOTUS pick. You've got William Barr trying to cut funding for these cities that are under Democrat control during a pandemic and an economic downturn. And, you've got nobody that's fighting against it. Nobody. And it frustrates the hell out of me. And it scares me as well. Why are they not out there fighting and doing everything they can to win? Because look, what we know, Donald Trump and William Barr, they're doing, and the Republicans are doing everything they can to win. Everything, and we should be doing the same. Take nothing for granted. Fight